Hi, and welcome to episode 1 of Aaron Talks About Boys Love Dramas. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about Manner of Death. So I'm just going to go over the summary a bit. Manner of Death is about a medical examiner, Dr. Bunnicutt, who's just transferred to a regional hospital. One day, a body comes in and it's been ruled a suicide, but his findings prove otherwise. And when he lifts up the sheet, he discovers that the body is actually that of one of his really good friends. And so she was a teacher in the village, and knowing that she loved what she did and she would never have committed suicide, he sets out to find the truth around her death. Even though that puts him in the crosshairs of somebody powerful and who would basically stop at nothing to have the truth hidden. His investigation also causes him to cross paths with Tan. And even though all the evidence points in Tan's direction, Tan is very adamant that he was never involved. So they end up teaming up in order to find out the truth behind his friend's death. So Manner of Death's genre is that it's thriller, mystery, and romance. It aired from November 2020 to February 2021. Has 14 episodes and an episode length of 45 minutes. The characters and actors, so Dr. Bun was played by Tull and Tudor Tan was played by Max. Now, I'm not going to say their names because I'm not going to do them justice, and I'm probably just going to end up butchering them. So my thoughts on this drama. When I saw this summary initially, I was very intrigued. But when I started watching it, I found the language to be very choppy and jarring. And now after watching a lot of Korean and Chinese dramas, which I found the language to be very lyrical and musical, I just had a hard time listening as a viewer. But I also didn't want this to stop me from enjoying other content. So I tried watching it again and ended up just like getting over it and really enjoying the show. I thought Dr. Bun was very adorable and cute. And he doesn't allow threats of harm to stop him from pursuing the truth about his friend's death, even when it pretty much seems like everybody's against him finding out the truth. So he faces increasing pressure from the hospital to confirm the death, and even like the police department is like putting pressure on the higher ups in the hospital and stuff to confirm the death as a suicide, because you find out later that like most of the higher ups are actually involved in a larger conspiracy of corruption to what happened to his friend. So initially liked the fact that he was very like, he wasn't afraid to persevere in the face of death. Like there was one instance where the brakes on his car ended up getting cut. He ended up in the hospital because of an accident. And then Tan, when he found out that he was in the hospital, he was like very concerned, obviously, and he went to visit him. But then later on, somebody went to the hospital, and I think you find out later that it was actually Tan that was sent to the hospital to scare him and try and put something in the IV lines that, you know, wasn't harmful, but it would have scared him into stop investigating. And I think that's I think it was Dr. Bun's uncle or a really good friend or something that had sent Tan to get Dr. Bun to basically stop investigating, because it turns out that he was in on the whole thing, or his uncle was basically in on the whole thing from the very beginning. But because they were family, he obviously didn't want his nephew or whatever to, I guess, discover the truth or end up being hurt necessarily. So yeah, I found it interesting because I recently found out that the author of Manner of Death is actually a doctor in real life. And so she was on set during the hospital scenes. So she was able to give Tull like the correct hospital jargon and lingo, and also like how like during like I guess the hospital scenes when he was doing like his medical examiner stuff to do it properly, which I thought added an aspect of realism to the show. What else? But there was also some things where I got kind of annoyed with him because I thought throughout the show he became more and more reliant on Tan, even when he thought Tan was suspicious. And I don't know, I just found him to be a bit whiny at times. It's like, what happened to the guy who like was willing to stand in the face of death on his own in order to find out the truth, you know? But like there was this one scene, I think at one point they'd faked their deaths and they were like in a safe house. And I can't quite remember, but anyway, they were getting that like hot and heavy. And it turns out that Tan basically was using that as a diversion and ended up like handcuffing him to the railing on the stairs. And then he left. And I think because he didn't want his life to be in danger or for him to get hurt. And then Dr. Bunn was like basically locked on like to the railing for hours. And then like I found all he did was kind of cry about it. I mean, it never actually showed him trying to do anything about it. And I kept thinking, like, if that were me, I'd be finding a way to get out of those handcuffs, whether it's like twisting myself around so that I can like try and kick out the railing or something. I wouldn't just sit there waiting. But that's just me. And because of that, I did find it a bit annoying. But all in all, it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the mystery around it, and them trying to investigate his friend's death. I'm not really normally good at mysteries because I normally will like I have a need to know, so I will normally just Google stuff, which is a really bad habit because it's ruined more than one show. But I didn't really find I needed to do that much with Manner of Death. I mean, it kept me just enough information, I guess, for me to enjoy the show. And yeah. So anyway, in episode 2, I will be talking about Tale of a Thousand Stars. If you want to be notified of any new episodes coming up, hit the notification bell. And if you like my videos, please subscribe.